Hello everyone, welcome to Red Snapper. My name's MJ and this is another Snap Packs planning video where I'm going to talk to you about what I'm personally doing with the upcoming Snap Packs and which cards I'm going to go for. We've also got some planners that you can use. You can download my planner, which is, I pretty much designed it to be used on a telephone device. Something like this, yeah? You know what a phone is, don't know why I did that. But you can also use other content creators, planners. EK August does an awesome one. Also Zero Skill Samus on Reddit, he posted a cool one the other day as well. They're all sort of slightly different and whatnot, so use whichever one you prefer most. But this is a planning style video, so we're going to be looking at the upcoming cards, giving them some star ratings, and talking about the more complicated system that we're now in. Spotlight cash planning was a lot easier. You used to target weeks where you needed multiple cards. Now there's conversations like which cards do you want to skip and have them drop into like your collector's Series 5 packs rather than the seasonal Series 5 snap packs. How complete is your collection, etc, etc. Anyway, let's just get into it, guys. So we'll skip the Surge week, shall we? And let's talk about Prodigy, which is pretty much the week that we're in at the moment. As of filming, Prodigy is out in a couple of days. He's a 3/4. On reveal, if this is in the back row, copy the text of the card in front of it. You can get my full thoughts in my Snap or Pass video. This is a weekly series, or actually more than weekly series, where I review the new cards coming to Marvel Snap, because I try to do all of them. Hopefully I can cover all of them with the increased schedule of Marvel Snap releasing more cards than ever before. Anyway, I think he's a solid card. I give him 3 stars. Actually, I think he might be slightly more powerful than I'm giving him credit for, but it's definitely a hard one to judge. I'm not entirely sure. And I have put here that I'm planning to get him via Snap Packs. I am going to open Seasonal Series 5 Snap Pack in order to get him. I am actually currently, as I'm speaking, collection complete, so if I were to open a Snap Pack, I would be guaranteed to get him. Now, this has actually changed from my previous plan. My previous plan was to just let him fall off and I'll basically get him at a later date, but I'm not sure. I think he could be fun enough that he's a card that I might want to experiment a little bit with, albeit I've only given him 3-star rating, but we'll see. I'm basically only opening Snap Packs because of the privileged position that I'm in being collection complete. So next up is Elixir. He's a 2/3. On reveal, one of your cards destroyed last turn gets revived here. Actually, I suppose I didn't mention what you can actually get if you open a Snap Pack in this series. It's basically all of the new X-Men cards that you don't own, along with the last season's cards, which is What If? And that includes the Season Pass card, Captain Carter. Right, anyway, back to Elixir, okay? I'm basically not getting it with this, guys. I am in the middle of writing my Snap or Pass, so I haven't fully developed my thoughts on Elixir yet, but I'm basically not seeing the opportunity for him. I think that the best place for him is going to be like a Fire Hair sort of style of deck, and those just generally aren't very good. And I'm just basically, I don't buy the whole insurance against Shang-Chi thing. Shang-Chi is played on the final turn of the game, so it's not going to work there. I think stuff like a tumor is a tumor. Insert clip.
Imagine if that tumour goes into your mouth.
Ugh.
Oh my god, imagine if you have to eat the tumour.
I'm not going to eat the tumour.
Oh my god, you're going to eat the tumour.
I'm not going to eat the tumour.
It's going to go up the street.
I'm going to have a sip.
Oh my god, the moment you tip the glass up, the tumour's going to get you.
That was from my food review channel called Food Review UK. Oh, by the way, massive shout out and thank you to everyone who came across and subscribed to my food review channel. I mentioned that I've got a food review channel the other day, and yeah, a load of you subscribed, so that was really, really kind of you, and I had a few comments on videos and stuff, so yeah, it's been cool to see you over there. Anyway, that was an absurd video. If you actually want to watch the full video that is from, I'll link it below. It was a mental video. Anyway, Elixir, yeah, I'm not getting it, guys. I don't think he's any good. I'm literally just going to skip him. I'm not interested in him. Don't want him. Which is funny, because I do actually like Firehair, and I wish that Firehair was sort of just had a more reliable deck, but at the moment, I don't think she does. So yeah, skip for me. I'm going to let him fall into like my Collector Series 5 Snap Pack or something like that. But then the following week is Xorn. He's a 2/3. After any 3 or 4 cost card is played here, move it to another location. I think my plan for Xorn is that I'm going to get him with tokens. yeah, I think I'm just going to pay the 6,000. I don't want to risk getting the Elixir. So, yeah, and listen, I think Xorn is a fine card. I give him 3.5. I think he'll be interesting in stuff like Move Disruption, especially as a 2-3. Also particularly interesting just his cost and being an automatic move generator person. Almost a little bit like Topaz. Topaz has got the slightly more reliability of, or the slight more reliability, I should say, of, first of all, moving all cards, and second of all, you know where you're going to move them. There is a restriction that you can only play her at the sides, though, for her ability to work. Xorn you can play anywhere. It affects your opponent's cards as well. So yeah, I think there's definitely differing levels of flexibility between these two similar cards, but I love him. I think the artwork is cool as well, so yeah, I'm jazzed for this. Right, next season. This is the June season. It's the Masters of the Arcane, and the seasonal Series 5 snap packs that you open in this month will include, of course, the new X-Men cards, including the Season Pass card Esme Cuckoo, who I really rather like. And just a reminder that these are leaks. The cards can change. So yeah, maybe we'll see some changes on these before they come out. So, 3rd of June is Morgan Lefay. She's a 4/5. On reveal, return all your discarded and destroyed cards to hand with +3 power. I've given her 4.5 stars. I think this is definitely such a brand new ability that perhaps this is the start of a interesting new sub-archetype, similar to like a hand dump style deck. I think she might work in that, and just any kind of deck where you're discarding cards and you're happy to have them back, generally speaking. Stuff like a Swarm deck would like this, because Swarm does actually get discarded and it creates copies. Now, crucially, she won't work with cards like Scorn, where their original version comes back to your hand. But yeah, maybe there's some sort of opportunity for her in a straight up discard deck. If not, then like I say, one of those sort of dumping style decks. Maybe there's like maybe this is more Firehair support as well. That could be interesting. So yeah, I think she's very, very cool. So I am going to target her with tokens. The following week, 10th of June, is the Ancient One. She's a 3/5. On reveal, add a Tau Mandala to your hand. And Tau Mandala is, we think this is a spell, or a skill, I should say. We think this is a skill. It's got the ability, on reveal, copy the text of one of your ongoing cards here onto your other characters here. So presumably after you play this, it's just going to disappear. I do think this is a cool card. As you can see, I've given her 3.5 stars. But for me, just not necessarily something that I'm excited about or too interested in. So as you can see, for me, it's going to be a skip this week. I'm going to skip this one, let her drop into the packs. The following week, however, is 17th of June, and it's Nightmare. He's a 2/2. On reveal, replace the text of each card in your hand with that of a random card that costs the same amount. If this ability stays the same, this is a 6-star card for me. I think this is insanely fun. It is basically the high roll of the Sauron deck, right? Well, kind of. I guess you are trampling on like your Scar potentially. So there's definitely some downsides, but it gives you like an alternate win condition, an alternate way to play that deck. Especially if you can remove the abilities, maybe remove the abilities first via, I don't know. It's just another Sauron in it, basically. You either get Sauron and hopefully you're winning that route, or you get Nightmare and you're winning that route, and it's going to be more chaotic. But this is I like chaos, guys. I like cards that have big impact and do lots of things, and this guy is, yeah, unpredictable, wild, and also the artwork's freaking cool. The logo's sick, so yeah, this is a very MJ style of card, so I'm going to buy them with tokens. The following week, 24th of June, is Clear. Oh, by the way, this artwork here, not the artwork, the logo design. I couldn't actually find the images of these cards with the actual logos on, so I just made these ones up, whatever. So she's a 1/1. When this permanently gains power, add a Flames of the Faultine to your hand, if in hand or in play. So that's very interesting. No matter how she gains power, she is going to add a Flames of the Faultine to your hand. So that's quite interesting, because at least if you've drawn her and you hit her with like a Nakia or some other card that allows us to buff our hand, then she's going to generate value. So that is, I think, is the cool side of her. The downside is I think that Flames of Faultine is not necessarily a particularly good card. Again, this is a card that we do think is a skill, so it is presumably going to be banished at the end of the turn, although the card text doesn't currently say that. So it's a 1 cost for a -2, with the upside being, if it is a skill, that you're not taking up space on the board. If it isn't a skill, then this is just bad, because it's just a 1/2, right? But it does generate lots of value, it does feed like your Ajax and stuff like that. That being said, guys, I'm just not getting it with this card. I don't see how it actually presents that much value other than resource generation. So for me, it's just a 2.5, and as you can see, I've put a cross next to it. I am skipping. Next up, guys, hopefully my video isn't in the way here, I'm not too sure. This is Dormammu. We do have the final artwork as well now, so yeah, in my previous leaks videos and whatnot, I just had to draft up some artwork for him. But this is, yeah, proper Dormammu. And by the way, before we even talk about the card, recently I was at Thorpe Park. I'll actually put some images on screen. I went with my beautiful wife Claire and my best mate Mike and his new partner Abby. So we had an awesome time. But you might be wondering, how the bloody hell is any of this relevant to Dormammu? Well, wildly, in the arcade there, they had these random like models of Marvel characters. So there is this Dormammu that I picked up, literally, and I literally bought this, or rather chose to win this Dormammu, literally for these moments, for like this moment here, this Snap Packs planning video that I'm making, but also the upcoming Snap or Pass video that I'll make for Dormammu, where I'll basically say the same thing again, so spoilers for that. But yeah, and these, I think they came with like a Marvel figurine collection that used to release in the UK. I have no idea why these were at Thorpe Park. There was another one as well, Hydro Man, which if we ever get a Hydro Man card, hopefully I'll do the same thing, I'll show the model. But yeah, what I'm saying now is not very interesting, it's not very relevant. And for some reason I'll put on screen a video of me winning most of the tickets that I used on the piano game. I don't know if you got the piano game in the US or other regions, wherever you're watching this from. But yeah, one of my favourites at the arcade. So yeah, that was a huge tangent to talk about Dormammu. Anyway, let's talk about the actual card. He's a 7/10. Game start. Begin a summoning ritual. Add step 1 to your hand. Step 1 of the summoning ritual is a 0-costed skill, not a spell. On reveal, merge your highest power destroyed card with Dormammu to continue. And then the next one is a 1-cost skill. On reveal, Dormammu steals 1 power from each card here to continue. And then the third one is a 3-cost skill. On reveal, destroy 2 of your characters here to summon Dormammu. I actually read that out quite poorly. I actually think I read all of those quite poorly. But basically, guys, first of all, you have to have destroyed a card, and then you merge that destroyed card into Dormammu. And it has to be a card which can be destroyed. So, for example, cards like X-23 and Wolverine, because they regenerate, they're not actually technically counted as having been destroyed. So you have to just destroy something, okay? Something that stays dead. You merge that into Dormammu. The next step is you steal power from some other cards. You do have to steal cards in order to get the next step. So you do have to basically successfully steal steal power from something. And then finally you destroy 2 active cards that you've got, and that summons Dormammu. So you do have to go through some heavy steps here in order to actually cheat Dormammu out. However, all of what you're doing there is definitely very powerful. You could be having powerful on reveal. So again, maybe this is like a Firehair deck. Again, this might be the card that makes Firehair exciting. And then you get this absolutely massive card out of it. Because by the time that you by the time that you summon him, he's going to be like a maybe up to or around a 15 power card. He could be much more. And the fact that you're doing this from relatively little energy spend is freaking awesome in my opinion. Like, he's kind of a 4-15 plus. That's kind of how I'm viewing him. As you can see, I've given him 5 stars, and I'm personally planning to get him with tokens, which means that my cards that I skipped from the X-Men season, which is probably just Elixir to be honest, are now going to have fallen into, get this right, Collector's Series 5 snap packs. So basically it will be a cheaper way for me to get Elixir. And yeah, eventually if I wait long enough and skip long enough, also cards like the Ancient One as well. Right, so we move into the Fantastic Four First Step season, which is July. And the Seasonal Series 5 snap packs will then contain the Masters of the Arcane series cards, season cards, including the Season Pass card, which is Merlin, which I know we've not talked about, but he looks extremely cool. You'll have to wait for my Snap or Pass to see my full thoughts on that. And yeah, just a heads up guys, if you've seen my leak video, you'll have seen the same thing. We haven't got artwork for these cards yet, so this is just some random ones that I made. So the 8th of July, the new card is Herbie. He is a 2/2 card with the ability, each turn this is in play, swap to a new activate ability until one is used. So I'm guessing this happens if you play him on turn 2. I'm guessing he gains an activate ability from turn 3, and then it swaps each turn onwards. Those 4 different abilities that he can get are activate, next turn you get +2 energy, so ramp. Activate, give your cards at adjacent locations +1 power. Activate, create a rock with 4 power here, and activate double this card's power. So sort of at his weakest, he's kind of like maybe a 2/3 if you've got cards in another location. At his strongest, he could be what, like a 2/6, pretty good, taking up a couple of spaces there. Or really the strongest one here is, of course, the next turn you get +2 energy. If you're doing that on turn 3, you've played Herbie on curve, then it means that on turn 4 you can play a 6-cost card. So that's really good, that's definitely the high roll. Otherwise, he's going to work well in just a buff deck where you're buffing lots of cards, especially if you want to buff him, you can get like the double this card's power. So he is definitely cool, he's interesting, he's got some versatility to him. However, I think the fact that he takes a bit of time to get going, he's unreliable, you don't know what you're going to get. He's just a 2/2. There's some downsides here that means I think he's only a 3-star card. I'm personally probably skipping him. Next week is this pretty much when is Fantastic Four First Steps out? It's like mid-July, isn't it? So it might be around this time anyway. Human Torch, First Steps Human Torch. He is a 3/2, end of turn, +1 power, once per game. If your side here is full, double this card's power instead. So that's really cool. So he grows, he automatically grows at the end of each turn, which is just a cool concept. And then if you do fill that location, he'll then double in power, which I think is really cool. I do think he's cool, I think he's interesting, I think he's good. However, I've only given him 3.5 stars because, you know, you have to get him out earlier to get the biggest benefit from him, and then you have to fill his location to even push that further. So I think I'm probably going to skip. Moving on to the next week afterwards is 22nd of July, it's The Thing First Steps version again. He is a 5/6, end of turn, +2 power, once per game. If your side here is full, destroy an enemy card here with lesser power. So that's really cool. He keeps growing each turn, can become, I mean, you can either ramp him out early and get him out on turn 4 where he'll be much bigger, or he actually becomes a 10 power card by the end of the game. He does find his way working around Shang-Chi, because this is going to happen at the end of the turn, and then destroy something at your opponent's side as well. So I think this is a more interesting card than Human Torch. I think he's really cool. And I've given him 4 stars, and I do plan to open a Seasonal Series 5 Snap Pack. Now, the danger that I find myself in here is that I could potentially open a Herbie or a Human Torch. So I guess, I don't know guys, this is where the complication from the system comes in. I don't 100% know what I'm going to do, okay? Maybe I'll keep opening packs and hit some of the other cards that I didn't necessarily want as much. We'll see what happens. Maybe this will be, you know, we're talking about a couple of months away. Maybe it'll be a different kind of conversation by then. it's all a little bit up in the air. Finally, the last week we're talking about today is 29th of July, which is the release of the Invisible Woman First Steps version. She's a 3/4. Activate. This turn, your end of turn abilities happen twice. So, because these cards, in particular Invisible Woman, are basically spearheading this brand new archetype of end of turn stuff. You know, end of turn becomes its own archetype. I can't not have access to a new archetypal card. So either I'll open her with tokens, I'll just get her with tokens, or depending on how my previous week's seasonal Series 5 snapbacks opening went, maybe I'll just open more and get, or maybe I'll just get everything by this point. Maybe I'll just open packs until I get everything by this point. I have wailed out on a few bundles recently, I'm not going to lie, guys. So, do I just keep wailing? I don't know, it's tough, but one way or another, I will get Invisible Woman because I'm really excited to play this new end of turn archetype which she brings together. There's also some Series 4 cards that are going to be coming out this month which are also tying the archetype together, like the Fantastica. That is like an activate card which gives your end of turn cards +2 power. So yeah, that could be interesting as well. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I think this was a long video. I hope you kept up to speed. I hope that you understood what I was saying. Does that make sense? I'm babbling. Isn't it ironic to be babbling about how long your video is? Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Cheers.